Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you guys aren't too comatose over the food. But thank you all for coming. This is amazing. This is our 10th Digital Velocity. I'm just amazed at how far we've come over the last just 5-6 years since we've been doing this. So normally at this point, you guys that have been to previous Digital Velocities, I would talk about French fries. I would talk about our volume on the tag management front and how we aspired to deliver more tags than McDonald's serves French fries. We started out saying we're serve more tags than they serve meals, and we blew by that. And then we said we're going to serve more tags than they serve individual French fries in a day, and we blew by that. I sat down with the people at McDonald's in Chicago about 2 months ago, and of course I had to mention this. They told me my numbers were surprisingly accurate. 85 French fries and a large French fry, the ratio of how many people order large French fries per meal, and the number of meals they sell in a day. So I feel good about this, but I told them not to feel bad. We could throw parfaits and Big Macs in just to keep them competitive. I'll have to find a new stat. So we've grown incredibly over the last couple years. We have this phenomenon where on Cyber Monday, we scale up massively. You can see here 4 times the growth between 2015 and 2016. What happens is this weird thing, though. When we get to mid-March, the Cyber Monday explosion that we've seen from a traffic perspective, that's an average day. When we get to mid-April, where we are right now, the growth that we had on Cyber Monday, the volume that we took into our audience stream platform, that's a slow day. And so we keep just incredibly increasing the amount of volume and the amount of data that we're bringing in to our platform. We handle the same amount of requests per day as all of Twitter does in a single day. It's pretty neat. It's pretty exciting for a little dinky company in comparison. We continue to invest in integrations. Since the last time we've talked, since the last time I was on stage, we've added hundreds of new integrations. These are just some of the ones that we've built this year. We're very focused on continuing to integrate with our customers, and it's actually getting easier. Every one of our customers, every one of our vendors has a big appetite for data. And you guys as customers, you're starting to influence the market. You're starting to make it so vendors accept that tag management is table stakes. And running data through a universal data hub is starting to become table stakes. And it's an amazing achievement when we get there. So what's next? Well, first, let's talk about a little company out of the Bay Area that came up with a nice little tag management platform. And they tried to compete with us for a while. I'm talking about a little company called Google. I predicted at the last DV in London that we would pass Google in the first quarter of this year. And we have. And I'm incredibly proud of my entire team, my entire company, from the sales team that brings on wonderful new customers, to our channel team that brings on fantastic partners, and to my customer success team and digital strategy teams that keep them happy and keep them proud Tealium customers, and my engineering team that does a fantastic job, not only from building products, but from scaling them. We sit at the top of the mountain. And again, I'll probably get this tattooed on my arm at some point. Upside down, so I can see it in the mirror. But this is cool for me. So what we've seen is more people are choosing Tealium. And there's one big reason. We've been saying this from day one. Because it's about the data. It's always been about the data for us. This is not about just managing tags. This is about providing that couples therapy between marketing and engineering to put ourselves in a great position to start doing amazing things with the data. Data for us is much bigger than analytics. We had a discussion. I had my sales leadership team in San Diego last week, and they said, we need to try to do this. And I thought, I don't like that idea. I'm an engineer. I'm not a sales guy, so I don't like that idea. But then I thought about it, and I thought, these are smart guys. These are guys that I trust. These are guys that I'm happy to go into battle with anytime I can. And I sat down with them. I thought, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do it. We're going to try it. Even though, as an engineer, my instinct is not aligned with it. Because I know the data will speak. If my customers are happier, if the handoffs between sales and deployment are smoother, if my retentions are better, if my turnout at my digital velocity conferences is higher, then we made the right play. And I'm going to let the data speak for itself. So my sales guys know I'm looking at charts. I'm going to measure them. But it's important that companies look and decide, now is the time to be a data-driven organization. You have to be. Joe stood up here and said, Domino's is going to open 1,000 new restaurants. They're not just throwing darts at a map and deciding, let's do them here. They're strategically placing that because the data speaks. Companies need to be data-driven. And when we think about it, we think about the data that we have. We have tag data from a tag management system that leads to event data. But when you talk about audience stream, these are not stats. These are not most requested pages reports. These are people. These are visitor profiles. These are people that are interacting with your brand, and they're telling you things. They're telling you how they engage with the brand that you've put in front of them. And you have to react to that. You have to. There's just no question. Just like Jerry said and just like Joe said, there has to be etiquette there. You have to be polite. You have to be considerate. You have to play nice. Don't be creepy. All of those things. But you have to be data-driven. You have to. And our goal as a platform is to provide that for you, to make the data accessible, to make it easy to get to make it configurable, to slice and dice it, all of those things. Marketing too. Marketing is bigger than marketing. This is not just ad buys anymore. A lot of organizations, they have their customer success teams roll up into sales. Makes sense? Customer success is a revenue-driving team. We at Tealium have customer success rolling up through the technology wing because I want to drive product. I'm not as interested, I am interested, but I'm not as interested in driving as much revenue as I am happy customers and a good product because I know that will pay dividends in the long run. I want to churn out happy customers. I want to churn out successful partners. And it starts for me with the product. But marketing now is inheriting this mandate of customer experience. All the touch points that you have to have, the brand, the mobile apps, all of it's not just all the little jingles, but the jingles are part of it. So someone could argue that there will come a time where customer success could roll up to marketing. Makes sense. They own the customer experience. Why don't they own the relationship too? But the reality is where you put customer success in a software company, all those answers are right. You can put it under sales. You can put it under engineering, provided you have an extremely talented CTO. Extremely, I stress, extremely talented. You could put it under marketing. And the idea is, regardless of where it goes, these three teams need to start working together. They need to work together a lot more. The data that they use needs to come from one place. The tools that they decide to work with need to be fueled properly. People need to get on the same page. And that, at Tealium, has really been what we've tried to do from day one. We started with tag management. We led into it with audience stream, with the single view of the customer. We try to get into the BI and the data-hungry people with our data access. But really what we're trying to do is to get you guys to work together to be better marketers. Customers have to be at the center. I'm excited for what the next 5 years is going to bring me personally because I think that customer service is going to get a lot better. We've all got a lot of opportunities. The hotels we stay in, the cars we rent, the stores we shop, the restaurants we eat at, all of those things. We have a lot of choices, and we have these massive computers in our pockets that make it really easy to be selective. I mean, how many times do you pick a restaurant because it's got 4.3 stars versus 4.2? I mean, that guy almost got my business. He was so close. But 4.3 really notched him out. So customer service is something that's really important, and customers have to be at the center of your mandate. And again, that's where we're focused around this. These are people. We have to interact with them properly. I talk to customers that come out through the sales cycle. And let me preface this with, I love all of my sales reps. But I get them in the deployment process. And they say, man, that sales guy sent me like 2 emails a day for 3 weeks at the tail end of that sales cycle. It's driving me nuts. I think to myself, when I found out you were going to be a customer, I bought something from your business because I like to buy from my customers. You've been sending me 4 emails a day for weeks. So I'm sorry if my sales guy sent you 2. You've been sending me 4. And my credit card was declined. But the politeness of the marketing, right? When we think about, I think about Joe's example where he said that he saw that message that said pre-approved credit card. And Joe's a savvy guy, right? I mean, obviously, he's in the top 1% of marketing intelligence, but had they just removed the pre-approved, they would have removed all the suspicion that he came up with. It would have been, oh, they're going to offer me a credit card. I don't know why, but they're offering it to me. It's a platinum-colored card. I don't know that they know my credit score. But by sneaking in that pre-approved, now it's creepy. So when we think about marketing, it really is about sitting around the table and saying, hey, does anybody have a problem with this? Do we like the way that we're being marketed to? Would we like to be marketed the way that we're choosing to market to our customers? I think it's that easy. This is our universal data hub. This is what we set out to do. We're trying to make all the data available. We're trying to make all of the campaign interactions centralized, governed. We're trying to get these teams together. So, what are we doing for marketing? So we're doing something that's, I think, is really, really cool. Live attributes. Those of you that are familiar with Audience Stream know that we ingest omni-channel data. This could be lead score data. This could be offline point of sale data. This could be workout data. Whatever it is that we get, we can upload that data and we can enrich those profiles. And now you can take advantage of that data across all of your marketing channels. Email, social, ad, whatever. Live attributes is actually something that starts to interact with microservice data. I'm now starting to take a look at times of day that people may reply. You may find somebody that responds very well to campaigns on the weekends, but doesn't respond very well on the weekdays. We have all that information. We may also be able to pull in data around whether that's a real obvious one, loyalty status, public demographic data. Think about something where we're pulling in information about a flight delay. I'm sitting in an airport, and I've got a 2-hour flight delay. I'm a pretty captive audience at that point. This is provided I'm not going to urgent care. Too soon? Sorry. This is a very united approach. That was too soon. I can tell from that laugh. But identifying when you have the captive audience, right? You may have a situation where you know that somebody doesn't respond to a campaign at 6 p.m. on a weekday, but they respond very well on the weekends. Great. We're going to make that information available to you so you know some of the best times to do it. Now, this has been a gap we've had for a long time, conversion attributes and dashboards. So when we get into the number of attributes that you can create within Audience Stream, one that we've had that's been missing is the concept of a conversion. Whether it be a purchase conversion, newsletter sign up, some sort of workflow, whatever it is, we want you to identify it because we want to be able to show the paths to conversion. And we want to be able to close the loop on the marketing to show this is how your campaigns are behaving. Right now, you can do it with attributes and flags and things like that, but we just want to make it easier and we want to make it more standard. We give you the opportunity to be very, very fluid with how you define the data. And that's great. And you guys can use data points and terminology and all of the pieces that are very germane to your business. But by putting in place something that says, this is all my data, Mike, you don't need to understand it. But this is my definition of a conversion. Now I can start providing visual reports for you. I can start doing more. Now we may need to bring data in from other systems. And we've started working on what we call input connectors. There's a potential out there for a pretty messy internet. If I want to interact with an email vendor, I can say, Tealium, I put it on the page, and then here's that little pixel. You have to go put this into your email templates. It's a pain. I'd rather integrate with MailChimp or Marketo and say, you guys know when somebody opens an email. Let me know when they do. You guys know when somebody bounces or moves it to spam or replies to it. Just let me know. I don't need to put my pixel everywhere, and I certainly don't want to task marketers with having to go tag pixels all over the place. This is ironic, being a pixel-based business, but it makes for a better ecosystem. It makes for a better stack when these companies start to work together and we say, hey, we've got the event data. Marketo, don't worry about it. We'll forward it on to you. You've got the email interaction data. Forward it on to us. And now we've got a great holistic view, both in Marketo and within Tealium. And that's what we're trying to do, and we're doubling down hard on our business development efforts to get there, because that's the right place that this needs to be. Developers. So these guys are part of the equation too. One of the things that I think developers don't have is a real understanding of what marketers actually do. My guidance to marketers is buy them lunch, buy them beer. You got the opportunity from our friends at Disney to take them to a Star Wars movie every year. Do something like that. But the developers miss out on what it is that marketers do. And so we're going to try to do some usability techniques to get marketers involved. And it starts with this Hello World experience, where marketers can now turn their developers loose on our tool, and these guys can go through and start building out data sources. Data sources could be websites, mobile apps, Roku devices, anything. We're building this from the mindset of a developer, what a developer would expect. What we want to take them to is an experience where they now start to understand and appreciate the complexity and the way to quickly install the solution. Again, this benefits marketers. If developers can use our tool better, then marketers will get faster deployments and will get faster time to market. And once we have those sorts of things deployed, and we're going beyond just web. If we talk about our example with a company like Evernote, we've got web, we've got mobile apps, we've got desktop apps that we're using. For us, they're all data sources. And once we have these, we want to provide you, using our live events screen, a real-time view with the data flowing in. And so we're going to nurture the developers through the process and say, tag up your application, see the data flowing into the interface. We give you sort of multiple categories of how the data is flowing in. That gets a little bit more advanced. But we will detect errors that are coming in and make it really easy to rectify those. And now we just get to the situation where we nurture you through creating a data layer, tagging your applications on whatever platform they may be. And we give the developers that they arguably have a short attention span too. We get them up and running and we keep them moving along. And hopefully this speeds up that amount of time, the deployment process for you guys. And so you guys get on to doing better things and interacting with your customers. One of the things that we're going to do as well in this is something we have across our data access product, which is called filtered streams. Some of you guys, maybe most of you have heard me talk about needles and haystacks, and it's really easy to find a needle in a haystack if the haystack's really small. What we want you to be able to do, and you can do it with our system, is to think about your data more. Filter it down. You don't need to always look at the all bucket for all of the data. Sometimes companies come to your website and they're searching for something and they can't find anything. They get 0 search results. Well, I throw all that data into my all bucket. Great. But that probably happens 4% of the time. So why do I want to scan through 100% of my data to get to 4%? I don't. But I can create filtered streams that say anytime we see a failed keyword or anytime we see a search result count of 0 in the data layer, let's put that into a separate, smaller bucket. And now when I'm scanning through the data, that filtered stream has 100% of the events in it. Every row in that file is a failed keyword. It's much faster. I can get at the data much quicker. I can build Tableau dashboards on it. I can build Looker and Burst and Domo dashboards on it, whatever I want to do. But I don't necessarily want to scan through 100% of my data all the time to try to find a 4% answer. Filter down the data. You can do that with us. And this is not performance delayed. This is not, hey, give us your definition of what a filtered stream should be, and we'll give you data in 48 hours. We don't work that way. That was the 90s. We just filter it down, and we give you 2 buckets, the one that has all the data in it and the one that has your filtered stream. Hey, dude. And you can have as many of these as you want. So, there was a big buzz around mobile a while ago, a couple years ago, and I think people are getting back into it. We desperately want to simplify mobile integrations for our companies. We've taken some liberties on the web side of things where you're running 40. Our average customer runs 40 vendors. And stats say that you'll be over 50 in 2018. It's too many for a mobile app. They all don't work. A lot of stuff still works only on the web. But if you go to your engineering teams and tell them they've got to put 50 SDKs in your mobile app, they're going to yank you off the plane. So there's not room for all of that. The other challenge you get is the more changes you make in the app, the more times you have to push it through the App Store. And every time you make a change, you got to hope that your customers download it and update it, right? My mom thinks she's got 15, or probably 50 now, 50 chat messages from the App Store. That's not the way it works. So our opinion on this is for mobile that you need to have 3 simple things. A collect handler. The collect handler is something that listens for events. It does your tracking for you. We leverage our cloud delivery capabilities for this. You send the data into the Tealium cloud, we replicate it onto wherever it needs to go. Site Catalyst, Google Analytics, Certona, don't care, okay? But that's the collect handler. Now the second piece in this is the optimize handler. I want to do A/B testing. I want to do personalization in app. Okay, that's a little bit more involved. And so you need to have a solution that is embedded with you. But we've partnered up with our friends at Optimizely, and we've said, listen, if people are going to do this, they're not going to deal with the fact that when they start pointing fingers that things don't work, they're going to say, well, Tealium, there's a problem. And we say, oh, that's an Optimizely thing. Or they point their finger at Optimizely, and Optimizely says, oh, that's a Tealium thing. We're not going to deal with that. It's bad customer experience. It's not going to happen. So we got our teams together, and we said, we need to understand your API, our API, your SDK, our SDK, and we're going to build you guys a combined SDK that are our two together. We know every line of their code. They know every line of our code. They can support our stuff. We can support their stuff. That's what we have to do when we start talking about customer at the center mandate, because you guys are the customers on this. And the last one is crash handling, to diagnosing problems. Now, most companies will use companies like New Relic or Crashlytics in their apps. And that's fantastic. What we're saying is that we, with our SDK, can listen for the crash handling events, and through our cloud delivery solution, forward that onto New Relic. I don't want to do crash reporting. I don't want to do crash analysis. I'm going to leave that to my partners. But I can get the data out of the app. And now I can get this to where you can do all of this, the basics. And this is pretty advanced, too, through one SDK. It should be really, really major. The data layer API. So there are times where you can't necessarily get all of the data into your CMS. There may be metadata about products. There may be metadata about authors and articles. There may just be other operational data that you want to push into the website, but you can't get it through your CMS. We've just released a data layer API. You can now upload through an API call metadata about a page, about an identifier, about a visitor, whatever you want it to be. It's a very flexible system. And what we will do at runtime, when that page loads, we will pull down that metadata from our multi-CDN architecture, which is the fastest in the business, and now we will augment and expand the footprint of your data layer with this information. So now you're getting point of sale data, let's say, or you're getting data out of some sort of article feed. You can now just push that in programmatically through an API, and now it's automatically there. You don't have to worry about pushing it into your own CMS system and making it available on the page. Our friends over at IBM will talk about how they're doing this to dramatically streamline their operations. Extension draft mode. So we're also doing some enhancements that I think are long overdue on Tealium IQ. One of them, one of the most popular extensions that we have is the JavaScript code extension. So we've created a draft mode. So you can go in now and have the code that's ready for production, but you can start working on drafts at the same time. This means that while I'm working on code that may take me a day or two to write, probably just a day, because I'm an exceptional CTO. I think we all established that. I'm working on this code, and somebody else, my ad team, is going and publishing outside of me. Today, there have been some challenges with that. Because if you have code that's not ready to go and somebody comes along and publishes, uh-oh, there's a problem. So draft mode addresses that. And then fast forwarding, what we're going to allow you to do is decide what target, when I talk about target environments, dev, QA, prod, custom environments, you can decide what environments certain drafts get published to. So you can now, I can now start working on a draft, publish it out to dev, test it out, make sure that it works, and then promote it to production. It's the way it should be. Should have been this way for a long time. My apologies. I took a week off when they made this decision not to do it, because I'm an exceptional CTO. I would have done this early. In Q4, I promoted somebody on my team who was one of my very early employees in a RAN deployment, and he ran support for a long time, and I promoted him to my information architect. And I told him, you need to treat the community like a product. And we're making leaps and bounds with our community. It's becoming less of a, I want to use profanity, but it's becoming less of a junkyard, let's say. I'm really, really excited about the new community that we have, and this is already live. I encourage all of you guys to check it out because we're taking a more action approach to how we guide you through there. You want to do certain things around your single view of your customer, or you want to optimize web performance on your websites, on your mobile apps. We're taking you through those sorts of techniques, and now you can read articles along that. In addition, I kicked off this project called the Challenger Series. On our public website, I think we have about 18 up there now. I've got about 14 that I still have to approve. But these are 3-minute, 5-minute, 7-minute videos where my deployment strategy, deployment team, our solutions engineering team, and our solutions consultant team have all taken their time to put together videos that just do cool stuff. Media suppression, two-way interaction with Salesforce, channel attribution reporting using Domo. These are the kind of videos that we do, and these challenges come from you guys. You guys can go in there and submit challenges. How would I do this using Audience Stream? You post it. If it's not just a blatantly idiotic idea, we'll put a video out there that shows you guys how we would do it. And the idea behind it is to, again, make you better and make you understand how to use our tools. Tealium status. You can go to status.tealium.com right now, and you can see the status of all of our systems. Multi-CDN, audience stream, all of our regions. We're getting ready to add the Tokyo region, the Sydney region are just about to go live, and Singapore will be live later in the year. But you can see everything. Full transparency, full disclosure. You guys can see. If you're having a problem on your website, hopefully you don't, but if you do, you can look at this and see, is Tealium having a problem right now? Now, we load everything asynchronously, so it's not likely that we would impact your website, but you guys have the transparency to see. Privacy and compliance. Data governance. So we've talked about this a lot. This is important. We still have large companies that are getting fined for heavily relying on safe harbor. And this GDPR stuff, it's not a joke. There are big fines associated with it. And so we're working with our team to put together GDPR standards. Jeff showed you how we're doing this for healthcare.gov. This is our privacy widget. I want to show you that not only can we do it for English sites, this is for Volvo in the Netherlands. We can skin it, we can localize it, whatever it needs to be done. But we're thinking long and hard about how we deal with GDPR. We are the first-party interaction. So for us, it's actually a little bit easier because we're writing first-party cookies. We're dealing with your customers directly. But there's a big challenge out there that the DMPs and the DSPs and the SSPs have because we all know piggyback tags, right? We've all heard it. It's a bad word. You don't know where your data is going. So when somebody says within GDPR compliance, forget me, how do you know where to erase across all those piggyback tags? These are big challenges. And you guys as data controllers, you have to be aware of this stuff. We're putting together GDPR packages for you where you guys will understand what you need to do to comply. And you'll understand what best practices to take to be in compliance. You're welcome. Private cloud. So for those companies that need to use PII in their marketing engagement, we have a solution. And this is live and up and running. The idea behind it is right now, all of your data is in a multi-tenant public cloud. We don't share data, we don't sell data, we don't even look at it. But if you need to isolate that data and to do things like HIPAA compliance on top of it, whether it be healthcare or whether it be financials, private cloud is there. We stand it up, we manage it, we scale it, we do everything for you. And we have people that are HIPAA compliant within Tealium, and those are the operators that have access to that cloud. We've been doing this for a while, and this is something that if the need is there, this is a way to isolate that data, and this is a way to keep that data in compliance for higher security companies that need it. Germany, Germans, all of those financial institutions, healthcare, companies like that should be looking at this. Streaming data support. So cloud delivery, I think, is going to be something that's going to be very big for us in 2017. It's up. It's collecting a lot of data. Cloud delivery is something where we send data into our system, and then we replicate it out to where it needs to go. We can use it to send the data off to Site Catalyst, to Google Analytics, to New Relic, to Crashlytics. I talked about that. This is how we instrument that new mobile collect strategy. It removes pixels from your website. It removes vendors off of your page. Now, some of the third-party vendors, your DMPs and your DSPs, the one I talked about, we may have to do cookie syncs to be able to get the identifiers, but after that, we can send all the data through our cloud system. Our partnership with Optimizely, they put their tag has to be on the landing pages so that they can personalize for their customers. But Optimizely would normally say, we want to be on the conversion page too, because we want to see if the personalization treatments that we're doing are actually converting. We can send the conversion data. We're already there. We don't have to put Optimizely there. We can easily do it through the tag management system, but trying to keep things lean and mean, we can just forward on that request through our cloud delivery system. But there's an important strategy here. When you get into high volume and you start looking at all your vendors, not all your vendors deal with data in real time. Some of them batch it. Some of them even say, we'll collect data for an hour and then we'll move it over to our processing facility. Anybody that says, we have real time, but you'll see the reports in 45 minutes. Not really real time. They're batching the data for a half hour, moving it to a system, analyzing it in 15 minutes, and making it available to you. So you need to take a look at your vendors. People will say, I want to move everything to cloud delivery. Uber says, I want to move everything to cloud delivery. 200 vendors. No, it's not going to happen. Right? First off, why? We need to look at that. Do all 200 of your vendors need that data in real time? I don't think so. If I read the documents on them, I would find that I would bet 180 of those vendors don't even do anything with that data in real time. So when we think about this streaming data support, we think about it in two phases. Cloud delivery, sending real-time data on to your vendors that can use it and can take advantage of it in real time. And for your other ones, let's just put it out there through our data access tool and let them come and pick it up when they're ready. We do it in 15-minute or 15 gigabyte increments, whatever comes first. That's really nice. But moreover, we pass the savings on to you guys. It's less data that we have to stream, and it's less data that they have to collect. The price goes down for you guys. And that's how you should be looking at it. You'll have some vendors that will receive this data in real time, and you have some vendors that just need to be happy coming and picking it up. And if you guys push me and say, hey, I need that reduced from 15 minutes to 5 minutes, fine. There's no technical limitation that says we can't do that. We just picked 15 minutes arbitrarily. It's the right number because, again, exceptional CTO. Here's a big thing, though. We've got major streaming integrations with all three of these platforms. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. And we've got big companies using these. This is a great way for people that want to bring data in-house, but want to use the already built out and proven clouds. We can fuel these. Now, on the customer experience. Tealium Think. So we've been doing machine learning on this data for about 7 months now. We have a lot of it. I would argue that we have one of the best data sets that's out there. We sit in the pole position on the tag management front. We're the leader there. We have more volume than anybody else. And the way that we've built our system, we understand that you're firing live chat with live person, or you're launching Optimizely, or you're running some other solutions because you're managing through us. We're not just a JavaScript CMS where you cut and paste JavaScript code and say load it on this page, like some of these other tools do. We actually pre-integrate all these solutions, so we know when we're launching components of your digital marketing stack. That's one big advantage. But now we have this superset of data that's fueling your digital marketing stack. And if you're using Audience Stream, we know about your customers. We know what's important to you. If you're using data access, we know the filtered sets of data that are important to you. We know the rules that drive different data sets. We're using this to put this data into models so that we can do machine learning on this. One of the biggest challenges our customers say is, I have a VIP customer. It's somebody that spends $1,000 over the last 90 days. It's pretty good, but it's hunch marketing. What if it's actually someone who spends $800 over the last 42 days, but has more than 3 visits in the last 30 days? Could be, right? We're never going to come to that assumption on our own. The machines have to tell us that. You just need to be able to say as a marketer, I want to have 10% of my audience as VIPs. You figure it out. We will. And the most important thing is we provide this to you again as a real-time service. So today, if I'm using an e-commerce example, I come to a website, I look at a product, I'm qualified at that point as a purchaser. Now I go through a couple more pages, and then I abandon. And the standard action is, let's wait until his session expires. Let's see if he abandoned, and then let's go get him through social, through ad tech, through email means if we have his identity. Perfect, that's what we deal with. But what if we had a system where we could say, Mike just looked at a product. He's qualified now as a potential purchaser. The next page, we ask a service, a microservice, a live attribute service that Tealium provides. Is he going to abandon, yes or no? Based on his profile, based on his past history, based on his dwell time on this page, is he going to abandon, yes or no? No, nothing to do. Next page. Is he going to abandon? Yes or no? No, nothing to do. Next page. Is he going to abandon? Yes. Why wait? Why wait 30 minutes? Why wait an hour to go get somebody? Let's hit him right then with an offer. We think he's going to churn. The machine data tells us this. Let's take advantage of that right away. I'm really excited about this because this is a huge problem, and a lot of you, from an organizational perspective, I saw who raised their hand this morning, you're thinking about machine learning in 2017, and your job is to probably put something in place for machine learning in 2018. We will get you there. With Audience Stream, with everything we've built, we will get you there. Now, very quickly, I talked about the streaming data capabilities and the live attributes. We're using our own outputs and inputs to do this, publicly available outputs and inputs. If you like our machine learning stuff, awesome. Use it, please. Help me make it better. But if you know your models very, very well, and you should, if you get into data science, you can use these same sets of pipes that we've created to use it yourself. This is not a closed system. This is not a closed-down ecosystem. Stream the data to yourself. We'll show you how to build a live attribute microservice, and we can start asking your system, will he abandon or will he won't? Willy Wonka. The tech is here, right? We can see this on the horizon. We haven't built all of it yet, but we're very heavily underway. And we're doing some early access stuff. We're doing some beta analysis on the machine learning right now. The gap here is we do need to work together to get there. And that's the focus. The challenge on this now becomes about the people. You guys need to bring ideas to the table, and we need to tell you how we will solve them using our platform. Our platform is there to build upon. We supply the data to your entire marketing stack. This was originally going to say, the tech is here, let's be united in how we work on it, but that just took a nosedive. Last week it would have been fine. We need to work together. The largest growing department in my team is the digital strategy team, and these guys are experts around email, around ad, around personalization, around data. Use them. Let's get you guys going with this stuff. That's it. That's what I have. It's going to be a fantastic year. To my prospects, to my customers, to my partners, to my friends, thank you. Thank you for letting us do what we love to do, and we want to make you guys great.